Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
The universe of Westworld is one filled with many substantial and fascinating moral questions. Where obvious moral questions arise in the ethics of mistreating human-like robots, other, in my opinion, even more significant moral questions are implied in the show's premise and throughout the development of the plot of Season 1. These questions are focused on the ability of the park's owners to create sentient artificial minds. This is a tremendous power, and should we consider that these sentient minds produce a conscious experience equal to that of a human mind, this power becomes attached to unimaginable responsibility. Going forward, let's not strictly consider the question of whether these entities inherit human rights, and let us instead focus on whether there now exists a moral obligation on the park's creators to bring these sentient minds into existence. Let's lay down a key rational philosophical assumption here. In that moral decisions are intended to maximize human happiness and minimize human suffering, and that happiness is directly a product of a functioning human mind, is it not now a correct moral decision to leave the host manufacturing machines on constantly? Surely it is ethically right to bring people into conscious existence if it is completely within our power to do so. In fact, if the most heinous aspect of murder is that it robs the victim of the opportunity to live the rest of their life, then is completely omitting potential conscious beings from living any of their lives akin to murdering them? And if it is, and the creators of Westworld were to shut down the host manufacturing machines, is this action not so ethically significant that it could almost constitute a crime? Is it not better that you exist? At this stage, you're probably thinking that this is a somewhat redundant moral question, as human beings have the ability to create human life, and we feel no explicit obligation to do so. We do not at all consider it unethical when a completely healthy and well-resourced couple decides to not have kids. So let's proceed as the majority of people are inclined to, with the philosophy that the rights of unborn people do not supersede or match the rights of those that already exist. After all, I should have no obligation to expend the time, money and effort to create people if doing such comes at the expense of my quality of life. This moral approach to the rights of those who do not yet exist is, of course, agreeable and widely accepted by humanity. However, this incumbent philosophy quickly falls apart in a Westworld scenario. When the ability to bring into existence fully conscious, sentient minds is a property of fully autonomous manufacturing equipment and software, where these new people require no time investment to raise and educate them, where the marginal cost of creating a human mind is near zero, what is an acceptable moral reason to not create that mind? You might say that collecting the physical materials required to produce their bodies would inconvenience the living, and so therefore these uncreated beings have no right to the physical world. So is it then our duty to create these minds purely in software? With the scalability of a virtual reality and sufficient computational power, we could conceivably create trillions of minds in this virtual world. Is this solution cheap enough to humanity to constitute a moral obligation? You might counter and say that there is no guarantee that these minds would experience a net positive life, that they may not find themselves happy or their circumstance fulfilling. But in such a scenario, the park's creators would have the ability to purposely alter the workings of these minds. Is it good and right to guarantee that these minds will experience love and fulfillment? Or do you think that such feelings only mean anything when evoked in proportion to objective, real-world experiences? In the world painted by this extraordinary show, there are theoretically infinite minds banging at the gates of conscious existence, and we stand on the other side with a key. What do you think we should do? How many do we let in? What is right?